Listen, sister, listen to that voice within. Listen, sister, come on in. Surrender to the river of unfolding that runs beneath your belly and heart. Surrender to the river of unfolding, for now's the time to start. Listen, brother, listen to that voice within. Listen, brother, come on in. Surrender to the river of unfolding that runs beneath your belly and heart. Surrender to the river of unfolding, for now's the time to start. Listen, people, listen to that voice within. Listen, people, come on in. Surrender to the river of unfolding. It touches everyone you see. Surrender to the river of unfolding. It starts with you and me.
Hi and welcome to Frejas Fiber. This is a knitting podcast by me, Sigrid, and I knit mostly for my daughter Freya. I just wanted to say that this episode is finally finished. I haven't been able to podcast for a long time due to I was sick in COVID-19 and there's a big change in my life, and I will talk about that in the podcast. I also wanted to say I know the sound is horrible in this video. There's like a purring cat sound. And I know a lot of people have commented that the sound is really bad, and I've been thinking about getting a microphone for a really long time, but it's just really not in my budget to get a microphone. I also should get some proper lighting, and maybe a tripod for the phone that I'm recording on. And I actually got a new phone, but I just could not find it in my budget to get a microphone. So I asked my followers on Instagram if it would be weird to have a fundraiser to let the people that watch this podcast be able to leave a small contribution so the sound, especially on the podcast, could get better and I could record with more quality. It's super weird for me, but I did create a fundraiser, so I'm just super grateful. If you appreciate the podcast or our Instagram or whatever and have a chance to donate a small amount of money, I will put in the show notes the link to the fundraiser, and I will always also put it on my Instagram. So yes, I hope you will enjoy this podcast and this episode, even if it's bad sound. Pretend it's a cat purring, that's what I do, and hopefully I will get a great microphone. Okay, bye. Hi and welcome to Frejas Fiber. I haven't podcasted in a long while, so sorry if I'm a bit rusty. I'm gonna do a lot of today. Let's just clear that one out. I've been asked several times actually to record a new episode, because I think the last one I posted in March and it's now August. So if you haven't noticed, I've been busy with both good things and really, really bad things. I just wanted to say right now I'm not sitting at home at my normal spot where I record. I'm sitting at my shop. Crazy. I couldn't tell you when I was recording last time. I don't even know if we had started yet, but me and one of my best friends have opened up an organic shop, an eco store, so to speak. I used to work as an environmental politician and activist when I was younger, and sustainability has been a big thing in my life. And I've been living a very sustainable life myself. Like I eat vegan food, I eat mostly organic, I make my own knitted
stuff, and I only buy secondhand or thrifted or vintage things, and I drive a part electric car, so it's called hybrid, and yeah, just trying to think of everything I can do. I use very harsh chemical-free products. That's one of my biggest interests in sustainability. And I was also teaching. I was a Waldorf teacher. So if you aren't following me on Instagram but following my podcast, you maybe will not know that I quit as a teacher. And just looking at my own eyebrows, that was a good thing. I really love teaching, and it's been amazing these last 5 years, but the last 2 years have been really hard. Being a single mom with Freya, that's my 2-year-old daughter, that has been hard. And having an entire class by myself, it was crazy challenging, and I almost got burnt out. So I felt like I wanted to do something else, and I started thinking. Basically, I started thinking, what can I do and knit at the same time? And pretty early on, I realized owning my own shop would make me be able to meet people and talk, and I could knit a lot. So I was thinking maybe like vintage dresses, but I didn't see a big market for that here. So I don't remember, but in the early spring or late winter, I just landed in that I want my own eco store. And I knew my colleague and friend Lotta Karin also wanted a store like that. So one day I was really fed up with working as a teacher, and I just texted her, like, I'm gonna open up my own organic shop. This is it. And she was like, well, I want to do that too. And she has been really having this dream for like 3 years. I think I've been having it a bit on and off throughout the years. I don't know if I thought it was too hard or whatever. So we started a company, and then I got sick. I got corona. I got COVID-19. I didn't know it at the time because in Sweden we are just not handling this well. A lot of people think we are, a lot of people say we are, and I'm sure it will be written in the history books that Sweden was excellent because we didn't have any lockdown. We just had like more than 50 people cannot gather. The schools have remained open through all of this, which resulted in me getting sick, of course. And the country's epidemiologist, whatever, he said that you can't get sick in a school, which is crazy because we were 12 people sick with the same symptoms, and one of them tested positive from the staff. And yeah, I was sick for about a month. It was one of the hardest things I've been through in my life. And in Sweden, you're only allowed, I almost tear up now, you're only allowed to get tested if you're in the ICU and you need help breathing. You can't get tested otherwise. But a couple of months ago, they started releasing private tests that you had to pay a lot for. And they were just very far away from me, so I couldn't go get them, and it was too expensive. And like last week, I got an email that I could get tested in a village nearby, and it was a little bit cheaper, but it's still like over almost 60 euro, or whatever currency you have. We have the Swedish krona, but that doesn't make sense to talk about, so I say euro, so maybe it'll be easier for you to translate your own currency. So yeah, I have been refused to be tested. I was at the emergency room, and they refused to help me and take me in because I could breathe on my own. But I was really sick. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't cook. I could barely make it to the bathroom. And Freya was with me, and that was the hardest thing. She was a bit sick too, so she's probably had it too, but for kids it's so much lighter, easier, mostly if they don't have any issues from the beginning. But just taking care of a 2-year-old when you can't take care of yourself, that was horrible. Her dad, we are separated since 2 years ago. Um, he took her for 2 days, and then he said he couldn't afford to take more time off. So my mom had to come over. I texted her and said like I can't do this, and she's in the risk group because of her age, but she came anyway, and for that I'm eternally grateful. She came for a couple of days to help out when it was at the worst, and when I had to go to the emergency room, she took Freya because I wanted to go to the emergency room and to the hospital quite a few times because in the evenings I had the trouble breathing symptom, and I was so scared. It was really hard to breathe, and I called the emergency line, and they said like if it gets any worse than it is right now, you have to come in. And the problem is when you live alone in the countryside with a sleeping 2-year-old, who's gonna help you make the call if it gets so much worse that you can't speak. Um, so yeah, I didn't want to traumatize Freya, like wake her up in the middle of the night and go with an ambulance, or would she be taken care of the social services, or yeah, it was horrible, and I was away from work an entire month, and I still I was symptom free, but I was so tired. It was like being a zombie afterwards. But the good thing is that a lot of people at my job at the school had it, so everybody was like, well, yeah, it's like dementia, it's like Alzheimer's, so all of us have it now, and we understand each other when we forget things. So that was also challenging, coming back to work and yeah, feeling like you have Alzheimer's and extreme fatigue. But I really wanted to follow my class to the end of their last year in middle school. And yeah, so right before I got sick, we started the company, and we met some lovely people that have a huge old house here that is an old school, and we wanted to rent a room in their building to have the shop. And it's a very well-known place. Like a lot of tourists and people come here. There's an arts and craft collective upstairs, and there's usually a cafe in the building, and it's been different kind of things. Like I was here for the first time when I was 15 years old. I remember it so clearly because I saw a dress that I wanted, and I didn't buy it, and I haven't stopped thinking about it for over 12 years, 13 years now. So it's really cool for me to have my store here where I've visited since I was like 15 years old. If you follow me, you know, and if you don't know, or maybe you don't remember, but I have moved a lot, like 30 times. I lived in Sweden, Finland, and Italy. And when I was 15, I signed a contract with myself that I would live on this beautiful place in Sweden, south of Sweden, called Österlen. And I moved here when Freya was 6 months old. And now we live here, and it's the most beautiful place I know in the whole wide world. I haven't seen all of the world, but I've seen most of Europe, and some countries outside of Europe too. Um, so yeah, so it's for me it's weird to have almost a childhood memory in this house, and now I'm working here. So yeah, it's an all white big building. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen it, and it's a lovely shop. Like I'm actually in a cellar right now, but it's so bright. Like you see the walls are white, and we have so much light from the windows coming down here, so it doesn't feel like it. But one thing that it does feel like is that it's very chilly down here. Like it's not cold, but it's really cool, and it's so nice when it's hot. Like the other day I wasn't supposed to come into the store because Lotta Karin would have it, but it was so hot at home, so I just went here with Freya because here I knew I could not sweat and just have a nice time. So one of the things that is really good is that I always get to wear my knitwear when I'm here. I also gifted a cardigan to Lotta Karin when we opened the shop. Many episodes ago, I made the Flaum cardigan. I don't remember the designer. And I loved how it looked, but it didn't look quite right on me, and I didn't really like it on me. And yeah, and then she put it on, and it looked perfect. And there was a lot of work behind that and a lot of yarn. But yeah, I was making this as a new white fluffy cardigan, so I felt like it was time to give it away, and I had thought to give it to my mother, but she has actually like 1 or 2 or 3 white cardigans for me, so maybe she wasn't the true recipient of the gift. So Lotte Karin got it, and she was so happy, and she's truly knit worthy, so she's gonna get more things from me. So yeah, we opened up the shop a month ago. We sell, I'm looking at the things now, I'm gonna give you a tour later. We sell organic and harsh chemical free, cruelty free of course, makeup and skincare. I love skincare products, but I hadn't had the time to really dive into that last couple of years, but now I have, and it's amazing what kind of natural products there is right now. Like Korean beauty, but vegan and organic, and we have some stuff from Estonia and Paris, and yeah, it's so cool. And we have shampoo and soap and deodorants and creams, and we have organic pads and tampons, and we have cloth pads for when you menstruate, and we have cleaning products, we have diapers, we have toothpaste, we have toothbrush, we have secondhand story place where we have for kids and women, and we sell food, mostly organic. Well, everything is organic, but it's also a lot that is biodynamic, and I think almost everything is vegan. Yeah, and we sell really cool toilet paper. That's what you're stacked upon right now. 2 big boxes of toilet paper that's made out of bamboo, because that's a lot better for the environment. And yeah, the company that started it is 3 dads in Sweden that read that 800 kids die every day in the world because of dirty water. So they are donating 50% of what they what kind of their profits, 50% of their profits they donate to water aid that secures fresh water, clean drinking water, and toilets for kids and adults in countries that are struggling. And we have some posters, you can see some of them here. Lotte Karin makes some necklaces up there. Yeah, we have chocolate, of course, and some candy and crackers, and yeah, we have a lot of stuff. And it's just so fun to be here. It's crazy, and I get to knit so much. I have so many things to show you. Unfortunately, I don't have them with me, because I was just dropping off Freya, and then I realized, hey, maybe I'll have time to podcast. But I will show you pictures and talk about them. And I am wearing this, and I have brought my current knitting projects, so that's great. But yeah, it's so fun to come here. Me and Lotta Karin, we laugh so much. I like literally want to go to work. Like today I'm off on a Tuesday, but tomorrow we open at Wednesday, and I want it to be tomorrow because I want to be here and I want to meet the customers. And yeah, like I said, Sweden haven't done that much of a lockdown, or haven't had rules, some rules, so you have to, of course you have to keep your distance, but people are mostly ignoring that. So in our store we have set a maximum customers of 10, and some stores do that, but it's up to you how you handle your store. You can get shut down if some inspection comes and see that people aren't able to keep a distance. it's a bit harsh, more harsh if you're a restaurant or cafe. Then you really have to take a maximum amount of people and really keep the tables far apart. But other than that, and we have no testing. We have testing. Like now, you can buy it really pretty expensive if you want to do it yourself. But there's so many people we don't know if they had it or not, and yeah, it's crazy. You know, it says on the news 17 new cases in this city. No, it's not. It's 17 people that are so sick that they got tested. We have no idea how many people are sick in our country. And that's really weird because Sweden, usually, I think we see ourselves like a pretty good country and we do things in a good manner and we're privileged. But this is just crazy. Like Norway, Denmark, Finland, they all around us, they shut down their schools. We did not. We just kept going. And of course, the kids couldn't sit too close together, and we had to be fewer in the canteen, and we had to serve them their food instead of them taking it themselves. But I mean, during recess, it was impossible to make them keep a distance, and it's impossible to keep a distance when you're a teacher. You have to like talk to them and help them, and yeah. So it's crazy. It's getting a bit calmer now in Sweden, but I think there will be. Everybody's predicting a second wave this fall, and it just feels very apocalyptic. But today, like 2 hours ago, I was just thinking, have I already said this? But 2 hours ago, I got tested, and I have the antibodies, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so happy because some people that have it don't. I mean, I didn't exactly know that I had COVID-19 until now. I just knew I had all the symptoms. All of the doctors said you probably have it, but we are not allowed to test you if you're not in the ICU and need an oxygen mask or whatever. I could breathe for myself, pretty much. So they wouldn't take me in, and yeah. But now I know that's what I had, and I'm so happy that I got the antibodies because I don't want to have it again. Then again, we don't know how long the antibodies will be active. They might disappear. Hope not. I hope it's like forever and ever antibodies. But nobody have been sick again if they have the antibodies for 6 months. So that's great news, and that means I might be able to see my grandpa. Because in Sweden, you're allowed to see elderly people if you have the antibodies and you're well. And we haven't seen him since Christmas, maybe. And he's really lonely. So I'm gonna give him a call later today to tell him that I have the antibodies. Freya, you can't test kids, but Freya was sick when I was sick, and it's pretty impossible not to get it when you're that close to somebody. And her dad is getting tested tomorrow. So if he has it and I have it, Freya will 99.9% sure have had it. So yeah. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. I was so scared I wouldn't have the antibodies and we'll have to go through this again. But I did not. I survived Corona. Yeah, so I'm so happy. But let's talk more about knitting. Like I said, I've had a lot more time to knit. I actually have a list with me today of all the things I've knitted. I couldn't knit when I was sick. That's how sick I was. I told the nurse that like I knit every day and I can't knit right now. That says more than any of my other symptoms. And she laughed. So there are some things I did before I got sick, and then what I did after and what I'm doing now. So I'm going to talk a little bit about them and show you pictures. So the first thing I think I didn't talk in the last podcast, I haven't had time to check, is the vest number 3 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. The vest trend, I was sure I wouldn't jump on it. I do not like vests, I do not wear vests, but it looked so cozy. And it was a great stash buster. I just used like 3 or 4 strands of yarn from my stash and made a vest. And it was actually really cozy, but it was really thick, so I couldn't use it for so long. But I'm gonna use it this winter again. So I'm gonna put up a picture of it here and now. So yeah, I actually wore that more than I thought. Next thing up, I think I showed the beginning of it in the last episode. I did the Camille cardigan for Freya. It's a little cardigan with the ruffles at the end. And where is that now? During summertime, I lose track of where I keep the knitting. That's not good. It's by Millefrid Knitwear. I think she's Danish. I mix up Danish and Norwegian designers all the time. And I made it in Sandnes Sunday yarn and 1 thread of tun mohair from Sandnes also, in a pretty gingerbready color, and I think it turned out really nice. And Freya was so cute in it. I'm saying was, she will wear it this fall when I find it. But she could just use it for a couple of weeks or months until it was too hot outside. Then I actually did a test knit, but I'm going to talk more about that when I show you pictures. So yeah, the test knit. I did Aftensocks by Aftenstrikk. That I think is Norwegian. Can't promise you, but so I got to test knit and I made a pair of socks for Freya. I did it in Järbo Mellanraggi, maybe. Raggi is a really loved sock yarn here in Sweden. It's for big chunky socks, and they also have a little thinner versions of it too. And I did that in a not self-striping, but yeah, maybe self-striping and some speckled yarn. And I really love the colorway. That was, I think it's a bit burnt ochre or gold, pink, white, black, and gray. I'm gonna post the pictures of those two. So the great thing about this pattern is that you measure the foot that you're going to, like it's a sock recipe more of. You measure the foot that it's going to be on, and then you calculate how many stitches you want to do. And I hate math, and I'm really bad at math. I'm getting better thanks to the knitting, but I really don't like knitting. I really don't like math. I almost said that I don't like knitting. Ooh, that was not a Freudian slip. Yeah, but it worked out really well, and they really fit Freya, and they will still fit this fall. So that was a nice knit too. And next up is Knutemor for season. I'm gonna show you a picture in advance this time. So yeah, this is an accessory. I did a similar one but with a twist in black during winter that I wore almost every day. Usually I wear my hair in a big messy bun, I can just let my hair down when Freya isn't around, because otherwise she will just, yeah, pull it and play with it, and it hurts. So Knutemor, I wanted to make something for in between seasons and be able to, wear my knitwear even if it's not really, really cold. And I made it in this beautiful yarn called Smara by a Swedish indie dyer called Flora Yarns. She's really popular, and I can understand that because I think it's a beautiful pastely dusty pink, and I was so happy I could use that yarn because I bought it at a yarn festival, and yeah, I've been using it not super much, but sometimes, and I just love the color, and I'm sure I will use it even more when fall comes, and you might want something a little bit warmer on your head, but it's pretty thin, so yeah, it's not super warm. And then I got sick. I think I started before I got sick. I was knitting my chunky sweater by Lykkelitan Victoria Snellman, and I did make it in some unraveled yarn. Yeah, right. I unraveled yarn from the... It was called Genser. Could it be Skappelgenser? Yes. The Skappelgenser I did just did not fit me. And I loved the yarn, so I unraveled it and washed it and wound it up again, and I was starting to make the My Chunky sweater, but it turned out too big and really heavy because it was alpaca in there, and it got so heavy that I would not, the yarn wouldn't be enough and I wouldn't have been able to use it. So I ripped it out. See, I'm pretty rusty at this. I ripped it out and made it in camel by my Mayflower instead. So I think that's one of those yarns where you have a little net and you blow in fibers, so it's really fluffy. And yeah, I did it in camel instead, and I made a matching one for Freya. I think it's our first knitted matching set, isn't it? I'm trying to think of something else. No, we did the Nordic summer top when she was really little. That is actually, I think, the profile pic I have here on YouTube. Anyway, it was actually a follower that commented on Instagram, I think, or was it here on YouTube, that said like, you should have matching sweaters in white. I can just see it, something fluffy. I was like, yeah, I can see that too. So I made those for me and Freya, and I'm gonna show you some pictures. And it's been really fun when we were at the store together in these sweaters. Like, nobody asked if that was my child. Everybody just, yeah, they belong together. And she actually likes it. It has been a little bit too warm to wear it, but I'm sure like in fall we will use them a lot. And she will not wear it to kindergarten because it's white and fluffy and will get dirty really, really quick. So yeah, and then for when I quit my job, or when I quit being a teacher. Do you ever quit being a teacher? Anyway, when my class went to a higher grade and I started a shop instead, I wanted to make something for that event because it meant a lot to me, and it was a scary thing to do. I'm gonna study this fall, and in Sweden, thank God, we get really great student loans, and we also get some extra money from the state, like a donation to when you're studying. Studying, that was really American. When you're studying. So I'm gonna have some income from that. this fall. So hopefully the shop will take off and I can maybe get paid in the next. Yeah, sorry for that interruption. It was the hospital calling because I had some problem with my insurance company when I was sick. They had the doctor just, yeah, he wrote that I was sick for just 1 day, but I was sick for four months, and they just wanted to make him correct that. So that's fixed now. I've been alone with Freya for 3 weeks now because her dad wants some child. She's with him normally every other weekend, but now he wanted some extra child-free time because he has 3 kids, and yeah, and he's gonna have her entire next week. So yeah, I've been alone with her, and that has been wonderful and really hard to have her here at the store, at the shop. She behaves mostly well, but I really need to, follow her and what she wants to not make her have a breakdown or a meltdown or whatever, or throw pillows at the customers and whatnot. So it's been hard. So today is her first day at kindergarten, and I can think again. So yeah, that's why I'm making errands and podcasting and things I just haven't had time for in a long while. But where was I? I was talking about what I did to celebrate me doing this and my last day as a teacher. I did the Bohemian scrunchie. It's a super pretty scrunchie with a lace pattern in mohair. I'm just gonna let it sink in, and it really suits me. So I did that in a couple of evenings. I'm gonna show you a picture. So yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen all of these. But I thought I could just make some comments, maybe. So yeah, that was a really fast and quick knit. I did a scrunchie pattern myself for a really simple, super duper simple scrunchie. So it was fun to do another kind of scrunchie, and I've been using it, sometimes. But yeah, I really like it. It looks like a little fluffy cloud. But I really want to talk to you about this. The only thing that I'm actually wearing today that I've knitted, of course I'm wearing clothes. It is the cardigan number 2, and as you probably can tell, it's knit on really big needles and pretty loose, and I really love that look. It is by My Favorite Things Knitwear again. When I made this list, I realized that I use a lot of the same designers this spring and summer. So this is what the yarn that I did the skappelgenser in, and I rolled it up, and then I made the chunky cardigan, but that didn't work out, so I ripped it out again, and then I knit this, and it's perfect. I think I'm gonna make it a little bit longer. I still have like a ball of it left, because I love really long cardigans, and this is just like mid-hip kind of story. So I think I'm gonna do it differently, but it's really nice to just have a big, simple, chunky cardigan to throw on when it's cold, and I have it in almost every day in the store. So that was really good knit. I think it's knit on needles millimeter 10. Not sure what that is in US. And yeah, it's a super quick knit. I don't really remember what the yarn is because I've used it so many times now. But I do think there's some alpaca in it, and it's very fluffy, and it's one thread of some silk yarn. I don't remember, but it's really cozy, and I'm really happy with it, except that I think I'm gonna make it a little bit longer. Anyway, did I show you a picture? No, I showed it. This. Should I show you a picture? Nah, you can look at my Instagram. Next up is another headband actually. In summer I tend to knit summer tops and headbands apparently, or small accessories. And I did the Chunky Twist by Rillerud again. So I think it was like just a smaller version of the black one I have in winter. I did a smaller one but with bamboo yarn instead. So it's really nice. I get a lot of baby hair or antennas or whatever you want to call it, and sometimes it's just really nice to get that out of your face, especially when it's warm. And bamboo, as you probably know, gives you warmth when it's cold and it keeps you cool when it's warm. So that has been good. And I actually use it like when I shower without washing my hair, and when I wash my face in the evening I also use that one. Kind of weird to knit something that you use every day but you maybe not wear it outside every day, but that's nice too. It's just unusual for me, but it's a nice feeling. Next up I did the camisole number 2. That got a lot of likes on Instagram. I don't know why. I didn't think the picture was that good, and yeah, the caption wasn't something good either, but hey, it's fun if people like it. I really didn't think I would finish camisole. I've met a new knitting friend. Haven't talked about her yet. Oh my god. So this girl messages me. I started sounding a little bit German there. She messaged me saying, "Hey, I live really close to you. I watched all of your episodes, I think. Most of your episodes, anyway." And turns out she knits the same things as me, because yeah, of course you can find knitters everywhere, but maybe they just, you know, knit freestyle or used to knit, or like it's pretty hard to find somebody that like knows what kind of yarn you're talking about, or designer or whatever. So it was she's called Fru Otterström at Instagram. Go follow her. She has a really lovely account, and she makes the same things as me but in nicer colors. I knit mostly white and beige and whatnot, and she actually has some color on hers. So if you like color, which most people do, you should follow her too. And yeah, it was really cool. I was so happy, but I think she kind of wrote to me just before I got corona, so we couldn't see each other. But when we could, we had a knitting marathon, and we watched Harry Potter, because she's also a Harry Potter fan. Oh my god. So that was amazing, and I just took out a lot of yarn, and she could get some of my leftovers, and we looked at knitting books, and yeah, so we write to each other almost daily, and we can talk about knitting, and it's so great. I mean, I love being on Instagram and YouTube and be able to talk to all of you and write about knitting, but it's also super fun to have somebody living close to you that is also a knitter. And she's also a kindergarten teacher, so she's great with kids. And like pretty early on in our friendship, I was really I'm lost for words. I can't even think about it in Swedish. I was desperate. I was desperate because I realized I couldn't be with Freya all alone in the shop, so I asked her, I'm sorry, I know you're on vacation and you work with kids, but could you watch Freya? And if she did. She ran around out here with Freya, and Freya was so happy, and you could see that she liked her instantly, and she just took her hand and walked out. And the second day after, Freya was like, I miss Caro. That's her nickname, Caro. I miss Caro. Where is Caro? I was like, yeah, this younger girl that actually can have the energy to run around outside, not like your mommy. She's not coming today. But Freya gets really happy when she sees her. So that's really fun, and a recommendation, follow her on Instagram. I might convince her to get on the podcast. She said she doesn't feel too comfortable with English, but maybe we can convince her. don't know, but it would be fun if she could do some guest appearance or something. Um, yeah, she was making the camisola number 2, and it looked nice, and I wanted to do it too. And then I started with some yarn that I had at home. I don't really remember what it was. I know it's cotton wool blend. Um, and oh my god, it was so small needles. Like when I've done this on needles 10, and then I dropped down to what was it, 3 or something, and it was just ribbing. I told her I'm not gonna finish this because she made it an X small. I did a large, but actually it was super meditative, like doing three. I don't know. I really liked it, and I almost thought it was boring when I came up to the chest doing the different other different things like increases and decreases and whatnot, and casting off. I thought that was kind of annoying because I really liked the rhythm of 3, knit 3, purl 3, knit 3, purl 3. That was really nice, and I did finish it. It's not a great fit. I don't know why. I think it's because of the yarn. Doesn't have a lot of memory, so it's a bit too loose than I would like it, but doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to knitting, but it looks good. I think it looks okay, and I might throw it in the dryer to make it a little bit smaller. Let's see. And to continue, I also did the Avery Genser. Yeah, this is a free pattern from Sandnes, and the yarn I used was soft cotton by Järbo, a Swedish yarn company. When I quit my job, the other job, being a teacher, the parents gave me a big, juicy gift card at the local yarn store. Yarn store. And I was really happy, and I used it as soon as I could. Uh, yeah, it was really, really nice. And I bought the yarn for the Avery Genser and one of the things that I'm making now. It's just a very simple cardigan. No, sorry, it's a sweater. Sweater. Um, and it was also in big needles, pretty chunky yarn. I did not feel quite content with it, so I've been thinking about maybe redoing the neckline, because I did that in another way that it in another way than it was supposed to be. But I think I want to redo it again, maybe do some off-shoulder thing. Another thing, great owning your own store. I can dress almost like I want. I don't have to cover myself up all the time. I think that is pretty annoying. When you work as a teacher, you have to look like kind of, I don't know, well dressed or whatever. But here at the store, I can wear what I want, and if they don't like it, they can leave. Then Freya's aunt came here. I just have a brother, half brother, but her father has 3 siblings and some adoptive siblings too, and he has a sister, and she works at Nike or Nike, however you want to pronounce it, in Holland. And yeah, Freya's gonna like her stuff and hate my hand knitted stuff. But anyway, Freya is in a time of her life where she loves glitter. Everything that glitters is magical. She says, "It's magical, mommy. It glitters. It's magical." So I can just say, "Do you want the magical sweater?" And she's like, "Yeah." And her aunt brought a silver glitter backpack in her size, in Freya's size. And she just loves it. And today when we were going back to kindergarten, I said we were going. She was like, "Nah, no, don't really want to." In Swedish, of course. She does not say perfect English words. She says yes and thanks or something like that. But yeah. But I said, "You can pack your backpack." She was like, "Yeah, I want to go. She was so proud, and she refused to take it off when we came to the daycare. So I asked her teacher, like, is it okay if she keeps it on for a bit longer? She was like, yes, let's pick our battles and not take this one. But when she got that one, I think it was the same day or something, she used a tea towel and wrapped it around herself and kept running around saying, I'm a superhero, mommy, I'm a superhero. I didn't even know she knew what that was. But of course, I want to help her realizing her superpowers, and I think it's really great, especially for girls, to be superheroes and feel strong. So I knitted her own cape. It was just freehand. I put everything else away and just did a freehand, wonky, little, chunky cape, a superhero cape in white and silver. Yeah, she's so adorable when she used it, and she loved it. It's magical because it also has glitter in it, and it matches the backpack. So that was a quick knit. I did it in one evening. And then I steam blocked it. I actually bought a steamer, so mostly for the store, maybe in the secondhand shop clothes here, but also maybe for the knitted items that don't need to be washed when they're finished. Maybe some just needs a steam blocking. Um, so that's it. That was a long list. I'm sorry if I'm rushing through it or something, or if I'm maybe I'm talking too long about it. But that's all the things I've knitted now, because I haven't talked to you in a long time. Now I'm going to show you what I'm knitting on right now, and then I have to go and pick up Freya. So, like I was saying, I'm knitting the Midnight Dancer socks. I think I was saying that. No, don't have them with me. Sorry, the battery is low. I don't have the Midnight Dancer socks with me, but I'm gonna insert a picture. I'm in Arvetta Classic, and um, yeah, in like a brown, grayish color, muddy color. I wanted a neutral color for some thin socks because I don't have any thin socks to wear because I knit mostly other things. Um, and yeah, it was so weird to cast on that many stitches um, for a pair of socks. I think it was over 200 stitches. And I did a silly game on my Instagram. I thought it was so funny that it was socks, so I put it out like, guess what this is? It's not what you think. And my dear friend Sophia Camerborn said she granted me 3 free patterns so that I could give away. And I said, like, if you guess the right thing what this is, I will give you the 3 free patterns from Camerbornia. And people were guessing, but they were guessing super logical. They were like, okay, I think it's something made by Camerbornia. I think it's a pattern from her, or maybe the roses because you have roses in the picture. And I was like, no, think outside the box. And I got messages from a few people saying, like, please just tell me what it is. I don't care about the contest or the game. I need to know what this is. I'm so curious. And then I dropped some hints on my stories because it was way harder than I thought. And Judy, the Autumn Acorn on Instagram, hi if you're watching, she guessed right. She was like, is it socks? And I said, yeah, it's socks. And yeah, it was so weird to cast on that many stitches for socks, but socks it will become, and I will show you. Well, I did show a picture, but I will show you when they're finished also. So the next thing I'm doing is the Rilletop by Rillerud. I think I made something else by Rillerud that I talked about. Yeah, the knutemor, the little headband. That was from her. So this is kind of hard to show. It's made of the sunless yarn line. Line means linen in Norwegian. And it's 13% linen in this yarn. So I've been making that joke now. Like, what if you called all the yarns the name of what they contain the least? So like all the sock yarns would be called nylon or polyamide or whatever. But yeah, so it's mostly, I think it's mostly cotton and some linen yarn. So this is going to be a top, and it's knitted from the top and down, and then you tie it around here. Maybe I'm going to show a picture of the finished one, but this is what mine looks like right now. And this is the back, and it has some pretty corners there. So yeah, I think it's pretty quick knit, but right now I'm knitting so many other things. So, and I'm not a fan of garter stitch. I think it takes up, all this wool. I think it takes up a lot of yarn, and it doesn't go that fast because it scrunches up a bit. But I really like this pattern, and I think it will look good when it's finished. So at last I'm gonna show you. I actually dyed some yarn a couple of months ago. I don't really remember when, but I remember I wanted to try avocado, but instead I got some blueberry concentrate in juice, natural, organic, blah blah blah. And I think I have to rip a piece of yarn here. It got stuck in my project bag. Yeah, I'll just slice it. I had some white wool yarn that I had for a really long time, and I colored it with some blueberry juice, and it turned out super pale pink, a bit dusty, and I love pale pinks. It's almost beige. It's pretty hard to see, I guess. Anyway, so I just wound that up to a ball. I really need a nøstepinne or something. I just do it in my hand. And I had this Rowan mohair yarn that I got second hand for like nothing in a bag. I had 2 of these. So I'm combining this but in brown for the neckline, and the body of the Clotilde sweater is the yarn that I colored myself, and 1 strand of the Rowan mohair, silk mohair or something. Anyway, this is the Clotilde cardigan. Clotilde, I don't know how to pronounce it in English. And it's a lace cardigan, and there is both a pattern for adults and for kids. So I'm making it for Freya, and I thought I wouldn't make myself one because we already have matching sweaters. It is pretty fun to have matching sweaters, so I might make one for me. So this has been a full episode crammed with knitting in the end, and I had to talk a lot about my life first, because it's a big change in my life to run this shop with my friend and not being a teacher anymore. And I survived Corona. I thought that was worth mentioning. So next episode, hopefully I will have finished some socks, this mellanraggi that I'm making from my colleague Lotta Karin. She turned 39 a couple of days or weeks ago, and I promised to make her socks, so today she got to pick out the color she wanted. So thank you for watching. Sorry, almost sorry, like I wish I could have recorded sooner, but I think you'll realize why I couldn't. But I hope I see you on Instagram and here, and I hope you're having a great summer, and stay well. Wash your hands. Okay, bye.